Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video we are doing a first impressions and review of some new releases from Wet n Wild. We have the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. We also have the new concealer. We also have a couple of the shades of the new liquid lipsticks. And we also have the skinny mascara, so like the lower lash line mascara to try out. So I'm going to try all that out for you today, and we're going to find out what works, what doesn't, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Real quick before we jump into the demo, I do have 5 of the foundation shades to show you guys so you can get an idea of the color range, and I will show you guys those right now. Okay, so we're just going to get started. I'm going to be using a beauty blender on one side to blend it out and a brush on the other just to see what works better as always, and I'm going to be using the shade Golden Beige. So it does have a little bit of a smell. I know some people were complaining about the scent being a little bit too strong. It kind of reminds me of MAC Studio Fix Foundation, if you're familiar with that kind of scent. It's not something that bothers me personally, but if you are someone who is very sensitive to scents, it might bother you a little bit, just something worth noting. I also saw some mixed reviews that people with dry skin weren't really liking this foundation, so I did moisturize really good prior to this. I'm using my Belief, the True Cream Moisturizing Balm, so this is a really good moisturizer. So right now my skin feels pretty normal, so I shouldn't really have any problems, so we will find out. My neck is a little bit more tan than my face right now. I do have a little bit of self-tanner on my neck, just so I could get a better match with this foundation because it did look a little bit dark for me. So just keep that in mind if you're looking for like my normal skin tone. This is a little bit darker than I usually am. Whoa, it's blending out really quick. And I also don't have any primer on today. For my first impressions, I don't like to use a primer usually, just to see how it behaves on its own. I need to put a little bit on my nose, I forgot. Okay, so right away with that first layer, I did use a little bit of the foundation. I didn't use too much. I feel like I got a light to medium coverage. I didn't think I got full coverage. You can definitely still see some redness showing through, but it actually looks really good. It actually made my skin look really nice. I like the finish of it. It did dry down very fast, so I would recommend working like in smaller areas instead of just applying it all over your face and then blending it out, so it does dry down pretty quickly. So that's something worth mentioning. Also, I did hear a lot of reviews saying that it blurred the look of their pores, and I do think that's very true. I do have very large pores on my nose and in my cheek area, and they do look very smooth out, filled in, and kind of blurred. So I do really like that. I am liking the way the foundation is looking in general. I'm going to try and build it up a little bit after I do this side, just to see if we can get a more full coverage out of this stuff. So far so good. For $5-6 bucks. It's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side with a brush. I'm going to be using the Morphe Y7 brush. I heard this is a really good foundation brush, so we're also going to find that out now. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply some. I'm going to just work with my cheek area first just to get that blended out. It goes on pretty luminous looking, and then it dries down to more of a matte finish. I would say it's like a natural matte finish. So I'm just checking it out now in the mirror. I am noticing that the brush side does look a little bit more fuller coverage than the Beauty Blender side. Looks a little bit more sheared out. I do like that foundation brush, if you guys were wondering. I do think it was pretty good. But so far, I'm really liking the way the foundation looks. I think this might be one of my new drugstore favorite foundations if it ends up holding up well when I put my makeup and stuff on top of it. But so far it's looking pretty freaking good. I was actually pretty worried that it was going to enhance the look of dry skin and make me look a little bit too dried out and enhance any dry patches of the reviews I was watching. They kind of scared me a little bit, but it's not enhancing any dryness on my face, and usually that does tend to happen with more matte foundations on me, so I'm pretty impressed with that. But I am going to go ahead and go back in with the brush on this side and try and build it up to a little bit more of a fuller coverage just to see. I do like the coverage that it's giving now. I would be okay with this. I would be fine. I think this would be like a great everyday kind of foundation with the coverage it's giving now. But I want to see if I could build it up to a more full coverage for like a more of like a going out kind of foundation. So let's play around and see. I'm just going to put it on in just like the areas that I get the most redness. Okay. It is actually building up. Damn, so it actually built up really nicely. I think it's more, I don't think it's completely full, but we're getting up there. It's a pretty good coverage. I think it's a definitely full medium, almost full coverage. It looks really good. It built up nice. I can see where you could apply too much of that foundation and it could look a little bit cakey. I think the amount that I applied was just like perfect. So just keep in mind, I think less is definitely going to be more with this foundation, but it looks really good. I'm actually really liking it. All right, so far so good. We're going to continue on with the concealer, trying that out, and then I'll do like my final updates and thoughts at the end. So this is the concealer. I will admit that I was pretty disappointed in the concealer selection. The foundation has a great selection. All the shades aren't in stores yet, but online there is like 20 shades, I believe. So that's a pretty good selection for a drugstore foundation, but the concealer kind of was a flop. There was only like 5 or 4 shades, so they didn't have the lightest one, which I wanted, so I ended up going with light medium beige, which kind of looks like it's gonna actually just like match my skin tone, so that's okay though. It's still alright, so we can try it out. So we're gonna go ahead and test this out and see how it performs. So the concealer is about the same size as the Maybelline Age Rewind concealer, but you actually get more inside the Wet n Wild concealer, and I also think this is cheaper. This was pretty reasonable. You get 0.29 fluid ounces in here, and you only get 0.2 in the Maybelline. So if this is good, that's pretty cool because I do like the Maybelline one. So let's see how this one goes. It's a pretty solid concealer. It's not very runny, not too watery. So, wow. It's actually blending out really good. I was really not expecting that concealer to go on that well. I don't even believe I'm going to say this right now, but it's almost comparable to my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, which you guys know I'm obsessed with and like everyone else is obsessed with too. It's just a little bit less of a coverage. If this was a little bit more fuller coverage, I feel like this would be an exact dupe for the Shape Tape Concealer. Just the way it blended out, the consistency is more of like a thicker consistency. I'm impressed. I'm going to add a little bit more and see if I can build that up because so far I'm really liking this and the way it blended out. If this ends up being really that good, they definitely need to come out with more shades of this because that would be awesome. For the price of this stuff, you know how much money we'll save, guys? This looks good, guys. I'm impressed. I'm going to go ahead and do the real test now, finish off the rest of my makeup. Then I'm going to come back and show you guys the lip swatches, the 2 lipsticks that I got, and we'll see how those go. So I won't do my lipstick until I come back. So I just finished off the rest of my makeup. I know I'm probably going to get a couple questions about these lashes. They are the Lena lashes in the style Sierra. I'll link everything down below that I used. I did try out the Wet n Wild Get the Skinny mascara, which is supposed to be like a lower lash line mascara, which I am absolutely in love with. I have a problem because my lower lashes are pretty long, so when I use regular mascara ones, they tend to be a little bit big, so I have an issue with them either hitting the bottom of like right underneath my eye or my lashes getting too like amplified and hitting the bottom of my lash line, getting mascara everywhere. So the fact that this is a super skinny mascara wand really helps that issue because I can get really close to the lower lashes and get some good coating on there without hitting my freaking face with the huge wand. So I really like this mascara, and it's so cheap, so this is a lifesaver. Foundation goes, I did run into one little problem. When I tried to use a little bit of cream contour, it did get patchy, so I have to be honest and say that cream products probably aren't the best on top of this foundation, but powder products, on the other hand, blended out amazingly. They looked awesome. So if you're going to use this foundation, powder products on top of it are probably the way to go. Other than that, the rest of my makeup went on flawlessly on top of it. I'm still loving the way the foundation looks. It looks awesome, like kind of like Photoshop airbrush finish. I can see where it could make someone with very dry skin and very extreme dry patches look a lot more dry because now that I put powder on and everything, it does look and feel a lot more matte. It's not enhancing any dryness on my face, but that's because I really don't have any right now. I did moisturize very well prior to putting the foundation on, so that could be it. So if you are very dry, I would recommend definitely putting on a heavy moisturizer before using this, or it might not just be your favorite, but it's worth a shot because it's only $5. Can't really beat that. I think every other skin type in between, oily, normal, combo, is definitely gonna like this foundation. I think it's really great. As far as the concealer goes, definitely awesome. You guys saw firsthand. I was super impressed with it from the get-go, so I am really still liking it. So let's try out the liquid lipsticks. So these are the new liquid lipsticks they came out with. I actually really love the packaging. It's very like sleek looking. It actually looks really high end for the price of these guys. It looks awesome. I picked up 2 of the shades. These are the ones that stood out most to me. The other colors they did have, they were all super beautiful. They had some nudes and some pops of color that were all gorgeous. So I just picked up 2 of them just to try them out. I got Rebel Rose, and that's the one I'll swatch for you first. Alright, right off the bat, the pigment is definitely intense. So that's that color. It is drying down completely matte to the touch. There's no transfer going on there. The pigment, you guys can see, is definitely really nice. It does have some nice pigment in there. It didn't go on patchy or anything. I like that. It is a little bit drying. I would compare it to the formula of like the ColourPop liquid lipsticks, which I like. I don't really mind when liquid lipsticks are drying because that usually means they tend to stay on really long. So I do like this one. So I'm going to take this off and swatch the other color. Whoa. This shade is super gorgeous and intense. I feel like these are probably the best drugstore liquid lipsticks I've tried to date. As far as like pigment and everything goes, I feel like they're the most comparable to a high-end brand that I've tried thus far. I'm really impressed with this whole new release that Wet n Wild came out with. I really like the foundation. The only thing I didn't like about it was that my cream product contour didn't really blend well on top of it. But other than that, I like everything else about it. I like the concealer. I really did like that a lot. You guys saw firsthand. I'm still really liking it. The Skinny Mascara is awesome, and I think that's everything I've tried so far from the release. I'm pretty sure all the other products are going to be great too, but if there's anything else you guys want me to try from that line, let me know, and I can do that for you. But other than that, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!